Hello and namaskar viewers, I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to this week's edition of the Tax Talk with AJ. The show is brought to you by Size CPS Services, a professional accounting firm, multiple locations in the state of New Jersey, and they can assist you and guide you and help you with all your tax matters. Whether it's a personal tax matters or corporate tax matters, Size CPS Services should be your only and one contact for all your tax needs. You can give them a call at 908-888-8900 or visit their website sizecpsservices.com. Over the phone, in person, or on Zoom, meeting is possible. Their knowledgeable and experienced on-hand CPAs will definitely help you out with any tax matters as well as IRS tax audit. Just in case if you need help in IRS tax audit, they will definitely help you out. So remember, it's a Size CPA Services. And with that note, I'd like to welcome Mr. AJ Kumar with over 25 years of experience, CPA, CVA, and MBA with Size CPA Services. Joins us every week in the show to guide us and to educate us, and most importantly, to inform us about all the tax-related matters. And of course, taxes changes whenever during the tax season. That's all we get to know from Mr. AJ Kumar. AJ, good to have you in the show once again.
Thank you, Sanjeevji. Thank you for the kind introduction.
You're very welcome. Now, let's just quickly get on the subject of today. It is something to do with Indian American community, because in our community, obviously, when there is a community work, there are community leaders, and there are more than you can imagine non-profit organizations. So what exactly are non-profit organizations? Mainly, all the community organizations that you see, they are non-profit organizations. So now we're going to ask AJ to give us more information on that non-profit organizations, how they work, why they are called non-profit organizations, and on top of that there is also not-for-profit organizations. So in this episode we're going to get all the information from AJ. So AJ, what exactly is non-profit organizations?
Absolutely, Sanjeevji. This is a subject that's close to my heart. A lot of people, especially people who have been here for some time, who are successful, they spend a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of money on non-for-profit causes. It doesn't have to be temple, churches, mosque. It could be just a social organization. It could be just doing something good for the community. It could be a political organization. A lot of Indians are getting involved with the local political chapters, be it Republican, be it Democrat, and they have a lot of 501c4 type of organizations, a lot of political organizations where they are working not to make any money, meaning not for profit, but to give back to the community for the next generation. And that's the idea behind a non-for-profit company.
Okay, so that's the explanation on non-profit and not-for-profit. Now, why do we see non-profit organizations mainly for the temples and for the organization which has the members and they do several events during the year, whether it's a Diwali festival or another festival throughout the year? They're all non-profit organizations. Is it because that way they can attract members, they can have the members? Because if it's not non-profit, then members won't come. Is that the reason?
Yes, but more than the members, it's all about the money. It doesn't matter how good of an intent you have. If you're not able to collect enough money for your non-for-profit cause, this cause sooner or later is going to die. So a lot of non-profit religious organization, social organization, Diwali organization, Indian communities, Pakistani communities, where they are trying to promote a cause or social awareness, religious awareness. They're all non-profit only because they can collect a lot of money by being non-profit. If you donate money, if you give money to a non-profit organization, especially 501c3, when we say non-profit, we are highlighting 501c3. There are several chapters in the non-profit world. When you go to IRC, Internal Revenue Code, they have divided different type of not-for-profit companies into various sections. So 501c3, typically that's what we call non-profit, where the temples, mosque, church, social organization, social welfare. All these organizations can collect money, and people who are giving money, they get to get the tax benefit for the money they are donating. The donation, the money given to non-profit company 501c3 becomes charitable contribution and tax deductible on the gifters, on the givers tax return. So just because people who are giving money can get the tax advantage, so if you are giving $10, it's only costing you $7, because $3, $4 is the tax benefit depending on your income tax bracket that you can claim. So it's easier for the companies to collect money by being non-profit. That's why you see a lot of non-profit companies, 501c3 companies.
All right. So, okay. So that is the reason why there are non-profit organizations. Now, let's just, walk step by step. What does it take for a group of individuals to start an organization and make it a non-profit organization? What's the first step to consider, and then the following steps?
Absolutely. So very first step, in order to have a non-profit company, non-profit, not-for-profit, you have to have at least 3 members. You find minimum 3, more than 3 people who believe in the same cause, the goal. What's the purpose of this organization? It's not-for-profit. You don't intend to make money out of it. You will be investing your own money to begin with. Then you want to collect money. But what are you trying to do? Are you there to promote a political cause? That's a different chapter now, where the money donation given to the political organizations is not tax deductible under charitable contribution. It may be deductible in your business in some scenarios up to a certain extent, but it's not charity. If you are trying to create a religious organization where you'll be promoting Indian culture, Pakistani culture, whichever culture you believe in, or you have a temple or a mosque or a church, those organizations are under 501c3. In those situations, you can collect the money, and for the person who is giving the money, who is donating the money, is tax deductible for them. It's easier for you to collect the money. So the very first step, the most important step in my mind, is to define the purpose. And if you can keep it as 501c3 as opposed to C4, C6, C13, C19, there are a lot of sections to this IRC, and we'll talk about everyone. But if you can define it to be 501c3, it's going to be very easy, much easier for you to collect the money. Now, that being said, the very first step, define the purpose. Define some sort of guidelines, bylaws. How would you make the decision? What do you want to do? How would you do it? What would be the fees if there is anything for the membership? You define the bylaws of this organization. Work with an accountant, work with an attorney to register this business with the state, with the IRS, get the EIN number, do the tax registration. Once this whole non-for-profit registration is done with the state, with the IRS, with the tax and labor department, after that, you will have the EIN number, the corp code. You take this EIN number and the corp code to the exemption department. Now you want to go to IRS after getting the EIN number and file certain applications so the IRS wouldn't tax you on the earnings, on the money that you are making. Take an example. Let's say if you collected $100 in this 501c3. For the first year, you only spend $20. This remaining $80, you have a plan to spend next year. But being the non-profit, being the 501c3, you don't want to be paying taxes on this $80, the leftover money. So you have to have certain permissions, certain exemptions, tax exemptions is called, and you file the application 1023. Depending on how much money you are expecting to collect, you can file 1023 easy or 1023 regular. There are heavy fees around it, hundreds of dollars. So, and the process can take 3 months to 6 months to get the approval. Older the company, older the organization, longer it takes to get the approval. So a lot of times, let's say if you have been having an organization for 3 years and now you want to convert it into a non-for-profit company, that will be far more cumbersome, expensive, time consuming than to just start a new company and make it a non-for-profit company. But that being said, the second step is to file 1023 application, work with IRS to get the tax exemption, 501c3 approval, So the IRS will not charge you taxes, income taxes going forward.
How long does it take for an organization to get 501c3?
It can take up to 6 months.
Okay.
The timelines right now, and it keeps changing. Right now, it's about 3 to 6 months. The way it's decided, the way it's defined for a newer organization, there is lesser scrutiny, lesser things to be checked. So you can get the approval in as long as 3 months.
Okay.
If it's an older organization, lot of members, it can take longer.
So what if the tax year lapse into this matter when they applied for 501c3, but they haven't gotten 501c3 and they have to file a tax return for the organization? Then what happens?
Absolutely. Great question. Let's say take an example. You started the organization in October. Now the year ends at the end of December and you don't have the 501c3 approval yet. Please understand the deadline for the non-for-profit filing is May 15th. If you remember, your personal tax deadline is April 15th, so you have 1 more month after filing the personal taxes to file the non-for-profit taxes. So the idea is in those 4.5 months, even if you are starting the non-for-profit company on December 31st, you should have the approval. When you get the approval is mostly given from the date of inception, from the date of incorporation. So by May 15th, you should have the approval, even if you applied, even if you started the organization in December, you still have enough time to get the approval. But hypothetically, if you don't have the approval before May 15th, you have the option to file an extension to get 6 more months.
Correct.
In that case, your deadline would be November 15th. So you will have enough time to get the approval, to go back and forth with the IRS to get the approval.
Okay.
But there is one more step in this process, Sanjeevji. After getting this 501c3 approval with the IRS, the third step is to go back to the state. Let's say New Jersey. You take this 501c3 approval, take the organization paper and submit it to the state of New Jersey to request a sales tax exemption, where you say, going forward, whatever we buy in this organization, we should not be paying any sales tax. Let's say, for example, if your goal is to give jackets, clothing, or food, or some sort of equipment to everybody, then when you go out to the stores, Home Depot in this case, you can show this approval letter from the state that you are sales tax exempt, and then you don't have to pay the sales tax on the items that you're buying. So IRS gives you the income tax exemption, 501c3 approval. The state, sales tax is a function of the state.
Perfect.
The state gives you the exemption from the sales tax, and the state sales tax exemption only comes after IRS 501c3 exemption.
Okay, very good. So you get sales tax exemption and you get income tax exemption once everything is put in the right places. All right. With that note, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to ask AJ that what happens when there is a fund sitting in the non-profit organization. Where can they use the fund and for what purpose? That's all coming up right after this messages. Welcome back to the second half of the Tax Talk with AJ right here on ITV Gold. Remember, the show is brought to you by Science CPS Services. As I mentioned earlier, for all your tax matters, of course, Science CPS Services should be one and only choice. But besides that, if your business, small business, needs a virtual CEO, virtual CFO, or even bookkeeping services, accounting services while you're busy, handling business and looking after business, small business, kind of mom and pop operation, then Science CPS Services can help you out to monitor your business completely, from getting a receipt to managing cash transactions to pay the bills and everything. And Science CPS Services, they are very, very well known for doing such a unique job in that matter also. So remember, it's not only about the taxes, but beyond the taxes for all your business needs. So it's better to give them a call once and get all the details. 908-888-8900, and my strong suggestion would be to give them a call and set up an appointment so you get to know more about Science CPS Services, and you will know that how they can help you with your business, managing a business, while you are concentrating on bringing the business. And that's a key thing about Science CPS services. But with that note, of course, this part of the show brought to you by Suhag Jewelers. Suhag Jewelers, a beautiful showroom located right here on Oakley Road in Islin, New Jersey. For gold, silver, platinum, diamond jewelry, visit Suhag Jewelers. Your next jewelry shopping should be, must be, only at Suhag Jewelers. Courteous service, beautiful collection, and also very, very reasonable prices. So check out Suhag Jewelers. And with that note, AJ will tell us the gold price by Suhag Jewelers.
Absolutely, Sanjeevji. So last night's spot rate was 33.67. Today the rate increased to 34.17. It's a huge increase, comparatively speaking, overnight increase in the spot rate. We are expecting the gold prices to continue to rise. Remember, South Asian community, Indian community is a big consumer of gold, and with Diwali coming soon, and this whole Saya, the wedding season coming soon, we are expecting the gold price to continue to increase.
Very nice. So we thank Suhag Jewelers for partly sponsoring this show, the Tax Talk with AJ. So now we know the non-profit organization has been set up, all the steps been discussed. AJ really informed all the steps and everything. So non-profit organization has been set up, and you have gotten, income tax exemption from IRS, and you have gotten sales tax exemption from the state wherever you have set up non-profit organization. Now let's look into more deeper as they collect money from their members or donors or contributors and everything else. What really happens to that money? They don't have to pay income tax. They don't have to pay sales tax. Can they pay salaries? Can they use money for the renovation? Where can they use money, and what's legal point of using money, and what's not legal to use that money for? So AJ, let's find out from that.
Absolutely, Sanjeevji. So let's take a couple of examples. Let's say first example is a temple. So if you have money collected, and temple is going to be 501c3 for you. It's a social religious welfare organization. So once you get this exemption, 501c3 exemption, can you hire the priest? Can you pay salary to the priest? Absolutely. So paying salary to the priest in this temple, in this 501c3 organization is 100% okay. Can you pay the rent? Because you have the temple in a building. Of course. You bought the building. Can you pay the mortgage? Of course. How about the utility bill? How about the cleaning? You want to construct another hole in this temple where you can have the food arrangement, where you want to give the free food, langar. Is this okay? 100%. So you can do the construction, expansion, pay the salaries, as long as what you're doing is in the same goal, is serving the same purpose for which you are giving the 501c3 exemption. As long as you are promoting the same purpose, as long as you are serving the same purpose, it's all fair to use the money that you have to pay the salaries, to pay the utility, property tax, mortgage, rent, anything that you need for that purpose is all fair. Now, what's not fair?
That's important to know.
That's equally important.
Right.
Let's say you have a non-for-profit organization. You are the trustee, and you are using this non-for-profit card for your own meals. That's not okay. If you are using it for your own personal use, I have a temple at home too. Can I buy something for the temple? It's not okay. Meaning that's not the purpose. The purpose is to create a temple where anybody can come. Anybody can come at my home too. It's still not okay. So paying yourself, creating a personal benefit, having the family members on the temple salary while they are not working there, having trustee's salary is questioned, especially if it's out of proportion. So having a salary for the priest is okay, but if you are the trustee and you are trying to draw a salary, especially if you are not the priest over there. I mean, you can be the priest and you can be the trustee, then it's okay. But if you are just the trustee spending some time and for the non-for-profit cause, you should not be on the salary. So make sure there is no conflict of interest when it comes to these organizations.
So the trustees cannot be on a salary, but they can hire the workers.
They can be on the salary as long as they are doing some work. Let's say a lot of priests who starts their own temple, they are trustees of the temple as well as they are the priest, full-time priest. In that
So
case,
they can draw salary as a priest.
they can draw salary as a
Okay.
priest. But a trustee not doing daily work should not be collecting any
So
salary.
then what about a manager? Let's say some temples have a manager who basically oversees all the managerial activities.
There are some temples who have a manager for day-to-day operations. In that case, it's okay to have a managerial salary as well, as long as it's reasonable. Meaning, you can't have a family member defined as a manager who has another job as well and drawing $100,000 of salary. Make sure there's no conflict of interest and make sure it's kosher. If it's not your son, if it's not a related party, first, would you pay them $100,000? Do you really need a manager? Does it have to be a family member? How does the family member qualifies to be a manager in this situation?
How often non-profit organizations' tax returns get audited?
The tax returns don't get audited as often because non-for-profit is considered as sacred unless there is something out of proportion. Because the name of the trustees are listed on the tax return. It's also listed how many hours they are spending in a typical week. It's also listed how much salary they are getting. It's also listed what's the maximum salary given to anybody in the organization. It's also listed what was the total salary. There are a lot of numbers that goes in the tax return. So unless there is something out of proportion, unless there is something that sort of jumps out of the tax return, generally speaking, the tax returns do not get audited.
Okay, all right. Now let's talk about not-for-profit. I think, we need to shed some more light on that matter for our viewers. What is not-for-profit? I mean, they are saying it's not-for-profit. That means it is for profit. So where is the gray area between these two lines, not-for-profit and it is for profit?
So, and you are 100% right. A lot of times, non-profit, not-for-profit are used loosely to say the same thing. But generally speaking, 501c3, the religious, the social, the welfare organization, where donating money is tax deductible, those organizations are referred as non-profit. Not-for-profit is a general concept that this organization is in the business to promote a cause, not to make money. And that could be 501c4, which could be a political organization. It could be a chamber of commerce, a networking group, like-mind people coming together to promote each other's business. There are a lot of chamber of commerce for each township, each community. Those chamber of commerce are 501c6. They collect money from each member only to reinvest into the organization. Nobody is making money out of it. So 501c4, political organization, 501c6, a networking organization, chamber of commerce, they're all not for profit. They can all have salaries, they all have similar rules, but money given to, for example, a chamber of commerce, 501c6, is not tax deductible under charitable contribution. It may be deductible under your business expenses because you are giving money to a networking organization, hopefully to get more business. So it could be deductible on certain other areas, but it's not considered as non-profit. It's not for profit. So the concept is not for profit is a wider concept out of which non-profit is 501c3.
All right. So now, in the end, if there is anything left to be cautioned when it comes to not-for-profit and not-for-profit organizations where they may not be aware of it, but they should not be doing certain activity. If there is anything, let us know in the last minute that we have in the show.
Absolutely, Sanjeevji. So quickly, and my favorite example is money given to the temple is tax deductible. Money given to the Panditji is not tax deductible, meaning the check given to the non-for-profit organization's name is tax deductible. If you are giving money to an individual's name, that's not tax deductible for you. Other thing you have to remember, a lot of people donate money out of goodness of their heart. They put money in the hundi and don't take the receipt. Unless you have the receipt, there is no limit. The question we are typically asked, under how much money I don't need the receipt. There is no such number. You have to have the receipt for everything, and the receipt has to be contemporaneous in nature, meaning at the time of filing the taxes, you have to have the receipt with you. You can't really say, if the need be, I can get the receipt. That doesn't work. That does not count. The receipt has to be contemporaneous in nature. Money has to be given out to a 501c3 organization. The check has to be cashed out in the year of giving. You can't really write a check on December 31st or put a back date. You're doing the taxes on April 15th. and you say, did you donate? How much? 5,000. And I'm writing a check of December 31st on April 15th. The check has to be cashed out. Money has to be given out. So just keep it clean. As much as everybody, as much as you want to save taxes, make sure you keep it clean. There's not enough money in the world to get into trouble.
Okay, very well said. And with that note, my strong suggestion would be that if you are thinking about starting non-profit organization for a community that you belong to, I would say contact Science CPS Services, have an appointment with them, and just go over through all the details to make sure that everything is being done right to set that organization as per the IRS and as per the local state guidelines. So with that note, we come to an end of this week's episode. AJ, thank you so very much for your time.
Absolutely, Sunil.
And once again, the show is brought to you by Science CPS Services, a full-fledged, complete professional accounting firm. Their on-hand, knowledgeable and experienced CPAs will help you with any tax matter or even business-related matter, and most importantly, IRS tax audit matter. Give them a call at 908-888-8900 or visit sciencecpsservices.com. I am Sanjeev Pandya, wishing you all very happy weekend ahead, and until we meet again, same place, same time, so long.
Thank you.